behind the the post.
There's definitely a bit of resistance.
I would hold here, look, like this. What are we on, stage 6 or 7? 7. Give me the nod.
Just check it. Hang on to it, I'll get some results.
Hello and welcome back to stage 7 of the Ford Part Cheviot Rally here up at the blustery, freezing cold Otterburn range. We've had all 4 seasons here this morning. We've had sun, snow, hail, rain and cold. And I can confirm here at the stage 7, Peter Taylor is leading. Jason Pritchard is second, 25 seconds behind. Gordon Morrison is third, a further 22 behind. Ross Busby is fifth, and Stephen Simpson is, Ross Busby is fourth, Stephen Simpson is fifth. We're here awaiting the cars on stage 7. We've had carnage on stage 4. There's been quite a bit of action. Daniel Harper went out on 4. Damon Cole went out on 4. There's a little rare yellow Nova on 3 wheels up there in the field. We had 7 cars off on junction 7 on stage 4. And the weather is better. Ryan's been saying all day it's drying out, and it is actually drying out now. We're drying out, but it is extremely raw and cold on the bottom of your legs. The wind is drying the road slightly. The field has been packed back up. There's been a slight delay before these stages have resumed. And here's the first car on the road, into view, in the distance, coming down through these little chicanes, past the parked marshal's car, and then coming into view and slotting left down towards the end of the stage. Ryan Champion is still here. He's managed to brave the cold weather and is here holding the big brolly.
Yeah, we see Peter Taylor coming towards us in the Fiesta WRC, a car once driven by Danny Sordo on his one-off outing for M Sport. So braking hard into the junction. We're right at the end of the stage now, and we can actually see quite tricky conditions now again, albeit much easier than what it was before. But now we've actually got dry patches and then swap into very damp sections as well.
Different conditions, different surfaces here, as we spoke earlier. You get off that old tarmac onto the new blacktop tar, which is here shining away, which reduces the grip considerably. Second car on the road is in the chicane in the distance. We're just ruffling some papers here now to find out who this is. But this is Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark. Apparently Phil turned over 2 pages of the pace notes and they got a bit lost towards the end of the last loop. Lost a bit of time. But Jason, now in fairness, it's all his to lose. The Tarmac Championship is his if he finishes here today. So Jason, in no uncertain terms, under a bit of pressure to deliver the goods in the North Road garage. Focus WRC 05. Next into the view, I think is Simpson, or Simo as he's commonly known in the service area, and Patrick Walsh in the R5 Plus. Dips on the front, under braking. Good looking car, Ryan.
Yeah, striking colours. The blue colour scheme standing out well against these grey clouds that are coming in again. A mixture of sunshine and clouds as we see the first of the Subarus.
First of the Subarus. This is number 9. Gordon Morrison in the Subaru. Gordon Morrison partnered by Callum McPherson. Off into the distance. Been a real challenge for man and machine here today, and you know, it's quite easy to look at these cars as they slither down the road, but it's not over till the rally's finished, is it? And it's very difficult as a competitor to throttle back and calm down and lose a bit of time. It's difficult to regain that lost time, but you've got to get to the finish to get any kind of result. And here is the next car. This is number 10, Mark McCulloch and Michael Hendry in the Subaru Impreza. Going well, raising a bit of spray there. Next up is another Subaru. This is 11, David Hardy and John McCulloch. We don't know if they're any relation. Somebody can let us know. Bit of a squeal of the tyres there. There's a good brace of Subarus to come now. Popular choice of car up here in the north east. And here at the wonderful Otterburn Ranges. Impressive place, never ever been here before.
Oh, it is an impressive place. You know, massive expanse of military ranges up here, the flowing roads. As we see another of the Fiestas. So Paul McKinnon in the right-hand drive R5 car. I think it's Paul's first outing of the year, so been a bit of a baptism of fire for him in the tough conditions this morning. But like you say, massive area with these high-speed sections of tarmac, quite narrow tarmac, and a lot of surface changes, as we've already talked about, really highlighted today when you've got changes in grip level.
Ross Busby here in the Mark II, number 20.
Yeah, we mentioned it before, the Frank Marr tribute colour scheme to the late Frank Marr, who made his name in an RS 1800 with a Duckham's livery.
Little bit of smoke coming off the back of that car, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't think it was tyre spray. It looked a little bit too blue for my liking.
But now we've got, like I said, these conditions where it's drying, and tyre choice again will be on everybody's minds now. How much is it going to dry out? Do I want an intermediate? Do I still carry on with a wet? But what we see with these stages is that there's not many long corners to really load up the tyres, so you probably still err on the side of caution, I would say.
Yeah, and there's a massive big grey clouds up there. We could have done with some sunglasses now in the last 5 minutes, but I can see the clouds are going to overcover the sun now, and I wouldn't be surprised if before the end of this stage we have a bit of the wet stuff.
Yeah, it's looking that way again. So really changeable conditions. I think the forecast showers until about 3 o'clock, or probably until we go home, I would.
Yeah, next up is another Subaru. This looks like it's number 12, and that's Ian Pedersen and Alan Patterson in the Subaru B13.
And then followed by what looks like Barry Lindsay, I think, in the 106. So we said he might creep into the top 10 by the end of the day. I think he's up to 8th overall already.
Yeah, cracking little result. Flying in the little 106. 22, Barry Lindsay and Caroline Lodge. Putting on a good show.
And really, traditional tarmac rallying venue up here. We talk about the epic military ranges in Otterburn. Until recently, with our ability to close roads, this has been sort of the heart of our tarmac rallying.
Yeah, you're right. Number 17, Lee Hastings and Cole Hastings in yet another Subaru.
Clipped a bale on the left-hand side there by the look of it. Some straw hanging out of the front end of the car. As we said, there's the chicanes, tightened junctions, tightened corners here, so it does certainly make the corners a little bit more tricky.
I think this is Grierson, 21, in the Subaru. Murray Grierson and Mark Grierson in the Subaru, still going, still running. Murray, vastly experienced, back in the wheel after a very long dry period, shall we say?
Yeah, maybe 15 years in retirement, I think, until he came back a couple of years ago. So very successful through the 80s and early 90s with a...
You made an interesting observation that he won the Scottish Championship in an Opel Kadett 400.
He did, yeah. I think it was a car originally built for South Africa, so it had like the Manta 400 running gear, but in a Mark 1 Astra-type body shell, and then he moved on to the Metro 6R4, of course.
Here's the little C-Max, 2-Max, C, whatever you call it. It's a Citroen C224. Michael Harbour and Ian McDougall in a Citroen C2 R2 Max. I got it all out then. Yeah,
great little car. So I'm sure it's exciting over the bumps, not so much suspension, and getting Getting followed here by the Avenger.
Yeah, the beautiful Avenger. 28 is Kenny Moore and Richard Waddle in the Hillman Avenger. And the guy who runs the Avengers for BRM is...
Baz Jordan.
Baz Jordan. Sorry, Baz, we couldn't remember your name earlier, but having successfully reinvented the Avenger. And here's Keith Robertson in the wonderful sounding BMW number 30. Keith Robertson and Ken Bayliss. Fantastic sounding car. I had the pleasure of sitting with Robertson many years ago down in Pembrey, probably about 30 odd years ago now. He moved up to Aberdeen and is a keen competitor up here on the Scottish and Northern rally scene. Keith Robertson and Ken Bills, BMW M3. Ricky Wheeler and Martin McCable in the Escort, I think. 31, yeah, Ricky Wheeler, Martin McCable. Nice looking Mark II. The passage of the cars over that shiny top is drying it out as we speak.
And so far, the cloud's staying away. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it looks a bit high. Not as menacing as it was. Here's the little Maestro. 35. Ross McCallum and James Ralph in the MG Maestro, but apparently it's got a Honda engine in it. I wonder if it talks like the early Maestros did.
Well, having done my first rally in a Maestro, I can tell you it never went as fast as that one does.
No, it's a very, very fast Maestro. The Maestro is in the Maestro.
And we still have the Maestro, would you believe?
Do you still own it?
Still have it.
Well, my God.
Maestro challenge car that my dad used.
Incredible. Here's the first of the little min boxes. 15 of them here today. And this will be Ray Cunningham, 37. And Jared Gill in the Austin Cooper S. Ray Cunningham from the Galloway Mini Centre in Ireland. Extremely successful in the minis, and coming over here to the UK and wiping the floor with these guys. Next up is the little Nova, 38. Stephen Bethwaite and Anne Foster in the Vauxhall Nova Sport. Oh, what a fantastic half an hour we've just had sitting in the van, waiting for this stage where we've just learned that Elvin has finished third overall in Catalunya. Only two world champions, multiple world champions on the podium with him. Winning was Sebastian Loeb. Second was Ogier. As 39 comes, that's Clive King and Anton Bird again in an Austin Mini S Mark 1. Yeah, just to reiterate there, the results in Catalunya, for those of you who haven't seen it or live in a cave. Loeb won, Ogier was second, and Elvin was third. So what a fantastic result for Elvin and for the French guys. And Loeb coming back after 6 years and winning. As 36 goes by, Derek Blythe and Neil Bye in the Subaru Impreza. A lot of people will be very impressed with that result by Loeb. As the Lancia Evo 6 comes of Graham Malthouse and Owen Malthouse. Like somebody said, a guy, 50-year-old, coming back into the championship after 6 years in a car which hasn't seen a lot of success and basically kicking their ass.
Yeah, it was certainly an impressive performance. I mean, fantastic for WRC, a good news story. But yeah, maybe a little bit embarrassing for the three title protagonists to be beaten by a part-timer.
Will he shake up the drivers' lineup this next year now as the Lotus comes? This is the Lotus Exige by Greg Inglis and Ian Parker.
Well, that's a question, Howard. Will he? Do you think he's come back as a part-timer this
Trouble
year?
is, he's a PTS, he's a Peugeot Talbot Citroën ambassador, so we can't go anywhere else but Citroën. Ogier won't have that.
Yeah, rumour has it they've signed another Frenchman as well. So.
Yeah, so, and I think he's got in his contract that Loeb can't go there anyway, because they didn't really get on. But anyway, let's see what happens. But let's not forget that Elfyn has finished third. Fantastic podium for Elfyn at a very crucial part of his negotiations for next year. Anyway, never mind, enough about that. We're back here in Otterburn as the sun is shining. Don't think it does that here very often, so let's take the most of it. As into sight comes the Subaru, hotly chased by the Evo. The Subaru number 45 belongs to Drew Gallagher, and 33, the Evo, is Alan Wallace. It's my reckoning that Drew has caught and passed Alan Wallace, but I might be wrong. It's known to happen before.
Yeah, what we're seeing is a lot of cars running out of order. There's a lot of cars went off the road on the previous couple of stages with the real terrible conditions. So as everybody's ended up at the end of the stages out of order, they're still continuing to come through in a bit out of sorts in terms of number order. So we're seeing quite a few cars come through the end of the stage here together.
We've got a Mark II coming in the distance.
3 cars.
We let you have the music. That's the Jaroszewicz brothers in the Drock Speed car. Julian and Paul. I would think the new visitors up here to Otterburn. 32. Phil Jobson and Jerry Hetrick in the R2, and this is the C2R2 of Redian Wilson, 51. Redian Daniels, Redian Daniels and Thomas Whittle in the Citroën C1 Max. Nice, lovely flat gear shift, open change there on the car. Boys from South Wales from Carmarthen and Redian Daniels. Going exceptionally well in the C1 Max. Hot championship contenders and class leaders in the Pro Tyre MSA Championship this year. We've had a lovely lunch today, and we've all tried a Powell's pork pie from Jane's brother, and I think the pork pie had a big tick. Everybody had a little bit, and some pickles and some mustard. So we've been fed and watered in Wayne's World as the Mini comes next. The little Mini, 52. John Cressy and Martin Cressy pushing hard in the Austin Mini Cooper S. Ford Puma, 50. Gary Laverick and Phil Kennedy in the Puma.
A little bit more of your blue smoke there. The Puma's breathing a little bit, I think. Hopefully it'll be all right.
She's breathing a bit heavy. Another Mark II. This is Steve Retchless and Sasha Harriott in number 40. Wrecker going well, fair play. Had a fraught here in the championship, but I think he's really enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice to see Steve out on the stages, as we said earlier. Used to be a big road rally man, and still is, but was doing a lot of the road rallies in the late 80s, and sort of made a comeback through road rallies, and then progressed onto stage rallies as we see now. And for a long number of years, Steve's run the Autotech concern in Thirsk, looking after a lot of cars, including my 205 back in the day.
Back in the day. What number was he? I can't find him on the entry list. Was he 40, was he? Ah, Steve Retchless, there he is, 40. Just deciding whether to turn over the page or not. We're in that kind of domain now, aren't we? Bottom of one, start of the other. Orange one, that could be Snowden. 18, Rob Snowden, he went off this morning at a great rate of knots down the field. That was a very spectacular off he had. So I'd be very surprised if he's back on this afternoon. No, this is the orange Mark 1 RS 1600 of Paul Kendrick and Luke Green. On a steady old run, number 54. Paul Kendrick and Luke Green in the Escort RS 1600. Next up, we've got a little Nova, 56. James Thompson and Fanny Westonlink. Now, apparently, Fanny Westonlink has done...
She co-drove on Rally Barbados for Kenny Hall for a number of years.
Well, good God. Is she from?
I think she's now from Scotland, I believe. Maybe
right.
From Holland originally.
Here's a little Peugeot 205, 57. Adam Hanna and Wayne Wood in the Peugeot 205 GTI. Now, is that the guy that doesn't wear a peak on his helmet in the Puma?
If you tell me that.
Is he a bit of an engineer, boffin kind of guy?
No, you're on about Andrew, who drives the rear-wheel drive.
Yes.
Yes, no, different car.
Different car. Well, Andrew, what is he?
Andrew Costin Hurley.
That's it, yes. Man with two names, Costin Hurley. Somebody stopped on the top of the hill. Can the other guy get through? What's happened? Oh, they've both stopped on top of the hill. Stopped in procession. What's happened up there? Have our marshals seen? Oh, there's somebody off on the right-hand side of the road. Look. Wayne's just spotted now with his big lens. He can see somebody is gone off on the top of the hill, and there's another car coming through. He's managed to squeeze by. No. We have a situation. We will resolve and see what happens now. Could we see anything through the extended lens on the camera? No. There's a marshal coming out now to speak to the crew of the first car that stopped. The guys are following the strict protocol that happens when a car leaves the road. The first car informs the radio people of the progress, and the other cars proceed if safe. Somebody has stayed up. The other car has stayed, and there's another car coming over the top of the hill now. The two, oh, they're slowing down. They're coming through, so we can only hope that all is good. And now these two cars will be coming to the finish very slowly. And it looks like we're going to stop the stage. So I think it's only fair we just we'll say goodbye to you from here now, and fill you in with any further information as and when we get it. So from stage 7, we'll say goodbye as 61, 59 and 62